So our next speaker today is Sarah Carter from the Central Interior region.
By the year 2050, our population will reach 9.7 billion, and we will have to increase our food production by 70%. How do we reach this dramatic increase when our number of farmers is only decreasing? Agricultural technology. Thank you, Chairperson. Welcome, honorable judges, ladies, gentlemen, everyone in between, and fellow 4-H members. My name is Sarah Carter, and I'm a senior member of the Highlands 4-H Club, representing the Central Interior region. Today, I will be discussing the future of farming, agricultural technology, and innovation. So agricultural technology, also known as agritech, is the key to feeding our growing population. Some of the more common types of technology that you might be able to think of are vacuums for milking cows, autonomous pickers, tractors, and plows. There are, however, so many more pieces of tech that are in development right now. This includes sensors to monitor crops for the farmers, robots that control amounts of pesticide, temperature and moisture sensors, and robotic soil samplers. Vertical farms are also developing. This is an indoor farm system that are basically on shelves. The climate is controlled so as to replicate growing conditions that they need to grow. There's also many forms of livestock technology, such as activity monitors, breath analysis for cows, thermal imaging analysis, and behavior analysis, all to catch an animal when they're sick so that their disease doesn't spread. There's also zero-waste fish farms and saltwater fish farms that are in development. In the future, we will have completely autonomous farms that humans don't even need to step foot on. All we'll need to do is press a few buttons on our phones. There are, of course, a few bumps along the way to our vision of agritech that we'll need to overcome. For example, some of this tech, such as vertical farms, could possibly damage the environment. Since they're still in such early stages of development, we won't know how much damage they could do for a little while. Of course, all this tech is still in development and needs a lot of research. Another problem is that some farmers will probably have to go get post-secondary education on how to use all this technology because it's very advanced. Another thing is that a lot of people are worried about possible job loss since their jobs will be replaced by all of this high-tech, new and efficient equipment. And of course, finally, this equipment will cost a lot for maintenance. However, in my opinion, the pros far outweigh the cons. These machines will be so much more productive and efficient. They'll make food safer to eat because you can track it back to where it came from so easily. It'll also make work so much safer for the workers because they won't have to manually operate dangerous equipment. So many new jobs will be created. For example, research shows that in the next 10 years alone, 100,000 jobs will be created in the US agricultural drone industry. You can edit genes with this tech for a better variety of food and to edit out unwanted traits. Genes can be altered to make the food more resistant and to certain diseases and to droughts. However, the most important part is that this tech could develop to be so much more environmentally friendly. We can reclaim degraded land so we don't have to destroy any more ecosystems for our farmland. The pollution will be reduced by so much. We can reduce water pollution, ground pollution. We can reduce waste and greenhouse gas emissions. Trucks that use up a lot of energy to refrigerate fish and bring them from the coast inland will no longer be needed because we can create saltwater fish farms and farms that replicate the ocean environment inland. Climate replication will take care of a lot of plants and so that they can grow in environments they wouldn't usually grow. So you don't need to transport them over such long distances, causing a lot of pollution. Alternative proteins have also started being developed. For example, a lot of people have begun eating bugs. If the Bear Grylls palate isn't really your thing and you don't want to eat them whole, there's a lot of other forms that you can eat them in, such as you can get them ground up into protein powder. You could also get them in candy. However, I personally would rather eat them whole. I mean, can you imagine biting into your chocolate bar only to be pulling out antenna from between your teeth? Cultured meat has also begun being developed. This is meat that's developed in labs from cells of animals. This will decrease the amount of livestock needed by a ton because we will no longer need livestock since you can just develop it from the cells. This is great because livestock farming is really harmful to the environment, and there's no way we'd be able to feed 10 billion people with it. To conclude, agri-tech is the future of our farming, and without it, there's no way we'd be able to feed our growing population. We've discussed what agri-tech currently looks like, what it could look like in the future, and the pros and cons of agri-tech. We need to remember to make sure that agricultural technology is growing with our population. Like George Washington once said, agriculture is the most healthful, most useful, and the most noble employment of man.